I am in Whitby, Ontario, which is the traditional territory of the Mississaugas, a Scugog Island First Nation. This is covered under the Williams Treaties and is a branch of the Greater Anishinaabeg Nation. Okay, well, welcome everybody. This was kind of a impromptu gratitude session because I noticed when Erin Davis was talking the other day, was how many people saw Erin Davis's talk? I think it was 2 weeks ago now. A couple of you, great. And feel free, you know, we're a small group, so feel free to unmute if you want to bellow anything out at any point. Or you can put stuff in the chat if you'd rather. I know some of you are under dark screens as well. One thing that stuck out, what she was talking about, was how when people asked her how she was able to cope with the loss of her daughter, she did mention that gratitude was one of those things that helped her. It was a good vehicle in order to get her through especially difficult patches. And you'll find that once we talk about gratitude in a more broad sense, that it isn't usually, it's a great sort of way to get your mind from going maybe in a depressive way or a spiral. Maybe you're having some sort of anxiety attack. Gratitude is a great natural, effective way to kind of almost stop it in the tracks and switch it all around. Does anybody have a gratitude practice already? Feel free to say yes or no. No. Catherine does. Do you write things down or do you just sort of think about things? How does it look like for you?
We do what are you grateful for every day? My husband and I ask each other, what are you grateful for today? And if something comes up in the middle of the day, we might go to each other and say, this just happened, or I just thought of this and I'm grateful for that. So we try, he writes things down, and I started doing write 3 things down every day. But I found this sort of organic, let's really incorporate it into how we approach every day, work better for us. And sometimes, conversation can devolve into what's wrong with the world and, horrible things happening. And we'll stop and say, okay, we need to close this with talking about something we're grateful for.
That's very mindful of the way you've done it. You've also been able to figure out a way that works for you both, which is fantastic. Mm-hmm. Does anybody else have any kind of practice that they've been doing?
I've been doing a 5-minute journal. So it's quick, but it's easy. And it's just like what you're grateful for first thing in the morning and then right before you go to sleep at night. It's just, it's a pretty easy practice. I haven't been doing it very long, but I've been trying to incorporate it, more into my life.
Awesome. That's great.
Yeah. It's Roxana. I do a 5-minute, I started a 5-minute journal back in January. And then I stopped in March for some reason. I don't know why, but I did. I found it useful to write the things that I'm grateful for, and I was very diligent every single day, in the morning and at night. But I stopped doing it because I found, that I was repeating the things that I was grateful for on a daily basis. And, I truly wanted to have something that I could really kind of would anchor me almost, Mm-hmm. And I found that I wasn't finding things outside of what I normally write on a daily basis.
Okay. I understand what you're saying. Joe, did you want to say something?
Yeah, our previous minister gave us little booklets, and I just saw this little piece of paper in it called Gratitude. It said, if the only prayer we ever said was thank you, it would suffice. A rabbi has said that every day we should offer to God thanks for 100 things, people, abilities that touch our lives. This is what she gave us. For this first week of Lent, each day you were invited to give thanks for 5 things: persons, events, encounters, abilities used or engaged today. If it helps, write them down. You might also consider when you wake to give thanks for the day that is about to unfold, and each evening give thanks for the day that has been.
Yeah. I think gratitude is fairly universal through religion and non-religion folks, and I think it's something very human that I think a lot of people lost sight of doing for a while. And so that's why I think, because I remember growing up, people didn't talk about mindfulness, they didn't talk about gratitude, they didn't talk about those things, and maybe because they were doing it already in community settings like churches and such like that. And now that some of us have moved away from that sort of institutionalized, maybe daily or weekly practices, it's harder for people to reconnect with those sort of things. My own story with gratitude is that for years I worked at Harbourfront Centre downtown Toronto, where I was an arts worker. And when I was laid off from there, I was kind of, it was messed up a little bit. I didn't really know what I wanted to do next. And I was very, anxious about the future and all those things. And a friend of mine gave me a journal to use. And I have to admit, I kind of scoffed at it because that's not what I need right now. And it kind of sat on my desk and took up dust. And, I looked at it once in a while. And then I thought, well, what could it hurt? So I started doing exactly sort of what Heather and Roxana were doing. And I just started writing down a few things every day. And then all of a sudden I started to have almost like something I could go back to as well. So when I was feeling down or was feeling anxious, I could look back at all the things that I was specifically grateful for. And that gave me an extra little push for that moment. So then when I realized that worked, I was like, wow, this kind of works. And I don't know why. So then I started looking into the science of gratitude. And that's when it got really interesting to me. And that's what I actually did before I went to do the virtual classes that you guys are all here for. I was making programs for seniors. And one of them was called Cultivating Gratitude. And that's what I'm going to show you a bit of my presentation. And then we'll just kind of talk about it in a more general way. So, so as I mentioned, I was, let me tee this up, as they say. So I would start looking into the science of gratitude, and I think that everybody can sort of understand what you're seeing here. You've got you're most likely to hear the complaints before you hear the gratitude. Now, a lot of people think that this is the reason why is that our lizard brains, or our brains that are trying to keep us from being eaten by tigers and bears and what else, it seems to think that when we go into a room, we see everything that's wrong with it. So we're looking for something that's going to attack us, something's going to kill us, all those things. It's our survival instinct. And that's what makes us look to see what's wrong with a picture, not what's right. And because we've evolved that maybe saber-toothed tigers aren't going to attack us, hopefully. I mean, some places maybe. Here in my Whitby home, I don't expect to see that, but that might translate into something like, I get the wrong sandwich at the deli. And then so all of a sudden I'm upset because I ordered turkey and I got pastrami, and how could you do this to me, and blah, blah, blah. And suddenly I'm complaining about things instead of thinking, hey, I'm so lucky to have a sandwich. So lucky that somebody served me a sandwich. I'm so lucky I get to try out this new kind of sandwich or whatever. So all I'm saying is that as we evolved, our lizard brain's still there, but it's still looking at the negative things because it's hoping that you'll see it and you'll fix it so that you won't be hurt. So that's kind of what the science is of why people think that we default into a negative or pessimistic view of things. And you get used to it. You get used to looking at the world that way, but you can change that. And as Catherine does every day with her husband, you just what you do is you turn the mind just a little bit to see what's grateful, what's good, and it can sort of realign how you see the worldview. So what is gratitude? So there's a great definition, is the affirmation of goodness. So what is good about something, not what's bad. For example, the sandwich is delicious, not I didn't order the sandwich, I never really like sandwiches, etc., etc. So you're going to say, you're looking at a scene, your life, something that's going wrong right now, but you try to see what is going right. So maybe you're not feeling very well, but maybe you can think about the things that you're feeling good about. Like your leg might hurt, but your mind is fantastic and you just got over that cold. Think about what's good and not bad. This is a great quote I really enjoy. that it's impossible to feel grateful and depressed at the same moment. And a lot of scientists say that it actually is very difficult to have those two concepts in your mind at the same time. So when we go back to that Erin Davis talk, when she was talking about how she lost her daughter, she talked about how she had to keep thinking about what she was grateful for in order almost to keep her, pull her back into the land of the living. So many folks, and when you think about aging as well, you experience depression. There's some social isolation, especially during the pandemic. There's general stress due to the physical and emotional conditions of getting older. But with practice, cultivating gratitude can have benefits on anybody's quality of life. So I'm not saying that this isn't a difficult time for everybody, but I mean, you could argue that all stages of our life are difficult in different ways. And gratitude is a good way to just sort of naturally help you feel better through it. So what do you think this means? Using a lens of scarcity versus a lens of abundance. Does anybody want to think that that might mean to them?
Focusing on what you have instead of what you don't have.
Mm-hmm.
Not just in material things,
mm-hmm.
but with peace of mind and family and love and a partner that cares for you and that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Anybody else have it? Yeah, I think that's right on. Does anybody else have any thoughts about this?
Isn't this the same as having a glass half empty as opposed to half full?
Half full. Yep.
Absolutely. Yep. I think everybody, whether you yourself have experienced this or you know somebody close to you or somebody that's always seeing things as there's not enough. Like you never have enough money, there's not enough love, there's not enough time, there's not enough food. There's something there's never not enough. And they're always complaining about how they don't have enough or something about the scarcity and that they don't think they'll ever get their peace, for example.
I have a question, Jen.
Yeah.
So what do you do when it's not you that's seeing it that way? But I guess I'll just tell you. My 88-year-old mother-in-law lives with us, and she is the most negative person you could come across. She has no sense of gratitude, and it's very difficult to be around when you're caring for her. So how does one generate gratitude and in these circumstances?
Well, we will be talking about some conversation starters that we move on that maybe you can help try with her.
Okay.
But I do just want to recognize that I'm sorry that must be very difficult to live with.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry it's one of those things that brings the whole household down.
Yes.
Sorry. Yeah.
Thank you.
But I mean, once again, if you practice the gratitude as well, maybe it can help you through her negativity. And then also, I think it's great that you can see that is her sort of her personal choice. It's not your fault. It's her.
No, it's easy. I know it's not my fault, but it's not easy when that negativity is directed at you, right? And I think one has to be superhuman to be able to ignore it all the time. And I try, but yeah. Anyways, sorry, I didn't mean to.
No. I feel for you, and I'm sorry you have to deal with that sort of negativity on a daily basis.
Yeah.
I think everybody in the room nodded when you said that. I don't think you're the only one in that position.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Yes, I do understand that. It's just, it's been particularly difficult these past few weeks. So I'm sorry. I didn't mean to bring everybody down.
Oh, please. No. Thank you for sharing. And that's the whole point of why we're talking about, like, can we naturally make ourselves feel better and the people around us? So it's important that you brought that up. And as Veronica said, we all have people like that in our lives or have met them. So we understand what you're going with.
Thank you.
So once again, when I think I talked about this before, is called the turning of the mind. So say you're feeling anxious or depressed or upset about things. So maybe it's 3 o'clock in the morning and you're doing that sort of staring at the ceiling thing and counting all the things that went wrong that week. So this is a good way of turning the mind. And even if it's just to quiet the anxiety, the anxious kind of thoughts or bad feelings that you're having, gratitude kind of steps in and shifts your focus and just turns it just a little bit so you can see that positive affirmation. So I really like that, just a turning of the mind, or you could even say a tuning of the mind as well. So I'm just going to briefly tell you about the science that I learned about it. And they've been doing so much studies in the last 10 years on gratitude. Before, I think people thought of it as sort of like a hoo-hoo kind of thing that nobody really, like it wouldn't be something that you would study. But now that they are studying it, there's a great, there's a university in Berkeley called the School of Greater Good. And they have a lot of resources online if you want to go check them out. But they have a lot of white papers on gratitude specifically. And they have other things that, just different ways on being happy. Around this time when I was making this program, I took a free course from Yale. So you could say I'm a Yale graduate. I'm just kidding. But I audited it, and it was great. And it was all about happiness and the science behind happiness and the different things that you could do to kind of get to be more happy. And it was explained that happiness isn't the sense of being, like you're not always going to be happy and you're not always going to be grateful and you're not always going to be any of those things. You're never one thing, but gratitude is one of those things that gives you those extra kind of ups when you're feeling down, for example. So anyway, I would suggest that if anybody is interested in happiness in general, I can send you the link. It is a free course you can take online. But I thought it was very interesting that gratitude has the power to heal, energize, and change lives. But this is sort of what's going on in your brain when you're doing it. So when we express gratitude and receive the same, our brain releases dopamine and serotonin, the two crucial neurotransmitters responsible for our emotions, and they make us feel good. They enhance our mood immediately, making us feel happy from the inside. So we're actually having a good brain soup going on when we're practicing gratitude. And one of the great things that I read when I was doing these things was that even if you're just looking for something to be grateful for, that sort of chemical response will happen. So you don't even have to find something you're grateful for. You can just start thinking about things that you should be grateful for. And that will actually start that kind of chemical thing to start going, which I thought was very interesting. So gratitude is this guy did the upward spiral, and it's all about gratitude. Dr. Alex Korb. He said, gratitude forces us to focus on the positive sides of life. Our brain is automatically redirected to pay attention to what we have, producing intrinsic motivation and a strong awareness of the present. So the other great thing about gratitude is it does anchor you. I think, Roxana, you're talking about that. Anchor you to the present time and day of what's going on. So it's also proven that cultivating gratitude can open the door to more relationships, improve physical and psychological health, enhance empathy, reduce aggression, help people sleep better, improve self-esteem, increase mental strength, and can make you happier. So those are a lot of great things you can do without a prescription. And it's just kind of really simple to be able to do a few of these things. And let's try one right now. So this is one of the, these are things that you could use, Roxana, perhaps with your mother-in-law, and you could just kind of insert them in conversation and see if you get a positive response from her. It might be an interesting experiment for you. But I think maybe we should do this together. So can anybody remember something that made you laugh today?
The book I'm reading.
Oh yeah, what book are you reading?
It's called Only Two Dates.
Only Two Dates? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And what specifically made you laugh? What specifically made you laugh, Joe?
I don't know, just the way it's an audio book, so just the way she talks and the way she meets the girl, goes to the club with her girlfriends, and there's male strippers there, And then a guy passes through the crowd and he smells all smoky and that. So she thinks he's going to be a fireman stripper, but he's not. He's just come from a fire. And then they go on a date. And in the restaurant, the tablecloths start on fire. So he has to put his talents to use. So it struck me funny.
Okay, well, I think we all need to know what that book is called.
Really?
Yeah, exactly.
That made me laugh today.
It made me laugh too.
Yeah.
So they say, and Roxana, maybe this would be something you can help with too. When you think about something you're being grateful for, try to be as specific as possible. Now, what Joe was talking about was very exactly what I'm trying to say. Like you can say, I'm so grateful for the food I have, or something. You can do that, or you could be specific about what exactly the food is, or you could be you could be grateful about. Say, I'm so grateful that it's warm out, or how about I was so grateful for the sunset this afternoon. At 8 o'clock, and the sky looked so, you could talk about it's more specific you get, the more sort of emphasis or the more money you get for it, the more bucks
bigger bang for your buck.
Thank you. That's exactly what I'm trying to say. Does anybody have anything else to make them laugh today? Any good chuckles? Okay, well, maybe what made you feel good today? So remember, even just thinking about what made you feel good, even if you don't find something, is starting that chemical reaction in your brain to make you feel better. So anything make you feel good?
I have one.
Yes, Catherine.
So I was vacuuming this morning, and I'm a bird watcher, and I was thinking about how I used to see kingbirds when I was a little girl, and how I haven't seen one in probably 40 or 50 years. And I thought, gee, I'd love to see a kingbird. And this is unbelievable, but true. I went out on my balcony to shake out a duster, and there was a kingbird in my tree. Wow. And I used to find injured birds when I was a little girl and take care of them, and would take them to a bird sanctuary. And often they were kingbirds. So I have this real nostalgic feeling about them. And I just couldn't believe it. And I just thought, wow, what a good day.
That's an amazing story. The fact that you were just thinking that, and then boom, there one was. That's the world works in mysterious ways.
What is a kingbird? I've never heard of a kingbird.
It's a kind of flycatcher, and it's about 8 inches long. It's a gray on top, a bright white breast and belly, and you recognize it because at the bottom of the tail, there's a very bright white band. And its Latin name is Tyrannus tyrannus. It's considered a tyrant bird because it doesn't like crows and it chases them.
I don't like crows either, so I think that they're actually probably the good side of them. Interesting. Oh, cool.
Almost like you manifested it. It's like your brain thought of it, and so you're more attuned to seeing it, and it was there. It's like, that's magic.
Yeah, possibly.
Truly. Yeah. Well, I like birds. I'm not a bird watcher, but I really do like birds. I know nothing about them. And we found a nest on one of our windowsills, and there was a little blue egg in there. And I said to my husband, I think that's a robin. And then this morning, when someone posted on the Art Your Service email the nest with the 3 blue eggs in it, I thought, and they said it was a robin's nest. I was like, see, I got it right. So that made me feel good because I have no knowledge of birds, but I do love to see them.
Awesome. Yep, definitely the blue robin's egg.
Unfortunately, it didn't hatch. We found it broken on the ground. So yeah. Anyways,
you would get some points on Quizmaster Clark's Day for knowing that was the Robins.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so what are you looking forward to? Is somebody looking forward to anything?
Our pool is opening up today.
Woo! Oh, good. So are you gonna dive in, Roxana?
I don't think it'll be ready for diving in yet. It takes a couple of days for the water to fill and all that kind of stuff. But yes, I will go swimming.
That's fantastic.
Once it's ready, yeah.
That's great. Anybody else looking forward to
I'm
something?
looking forward to going visiting my daughter in New Brunswick next week for 5 days.
Oh,
Nice. That'll be fantastic. The great thing about anticipation, thinking about things in your brain, is they say that just thinking about things that you're looking forward to is almost as good as the thing itself. So like the planning of the trip is exciting. The planning of the pool being open and thinking about yourself in the pool is also feeling good. So you're using all that kind of anticipatory, I'm sorry, I can't talk today. All that anticipation, but it's also making you feel good about the thing that you haven't even done yet. So it's really good to plan things that you're going to, like trips, for example, or to see good friends, anything that would make you feel good, you're going to feel good before you actually do it. So it's kind of like a double bonus. So when you look forward to something, think about how that makes you feel even before you've even done it. So what made you smile today? Maybe some of these things are being, anybody else there? Anything that make you smile today? Is Mary, is the cat on your lap making you smile? I can see a cat on your lap. That's awesome.
Watching
She's the love of my life.
Oh, can we see her? Let's see her.
Oh,
Is she a tabby?
beautiful.
Yeah, long hair.
Mm-hmm.
But she's so sweet and gentle and slow like me.
What's her name?
Chloe.
Lovely.
Nice.
She's a rescue. I adopted because I was lonely.
That's good. And she rescued you.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, thanks for introducing us to Chloe.
Well, thank you.
Another good question is, well, who is your hero today or this week or at any point? We're going to kind of get back to this question a little bit later. So I want you to just kind of let that kind of dance around your head. But who is your hero? Who's been your hero lately? So just think about that question actually before I finish this. Here's another good conversation starter. Oftentimes we think about ourselves in a negative light, which makes us feel worse. So it's always good to talk about what you admire most about yourself. And I do find it's even more difficult for women to do this. They can do it for their friends, but they're very difficult to do it for themselves because they feel like they're bragging or something. I'm not sure, but the way we were all brought up is so that we weren't supposed to think of ourselves in that way. Other people could admire us, but we're not supposed to do that ourselves. So this is a really good way to sort of think, and this will help you with your self-worth and your confidence and all these wonderful things. So just think about, you don't have to share unless you want to, but just think about something that you admire about yourself, because it's always good to do that. And there's so much to be had for loving oneself. I know it's some of a bit of a cliche, but when you think about things that you admire of yourself, that you appreciate about yourself, sometimes you need to hear it from yourself more than anybody else. There's a woman right now that does a bunch of sort of inspiring motivational stuff. And she's done a bunch of research on sort of self-worth and confidence and discipline and all those different things. But her big thing is that every morning you give yourself a high five in the mirror. And she says that when you do that, you're giving yourself sort of an unconscious signal that you are in it together. Like you are yourself, but you and your person in the mirror. I know I'm getting kind of confusing here, but that you believe that you can do it. So instead of like high-fiving your teammate, you're high-fiving yourself, and it kind of gives you that boost in the morning. And she says you just do it for 30 days and your mind will change. And I just thought that was very interesting. I haven't tried it myself, But if anybody wants to start high-fiving themselves lightly, because you don't want to hurt yourself in the mirror, no slapping yourself, but just give yourself a high five. I'd just be interested to see. A lot of people have been doing it on social media just to see if it's working. But it's called the morning high five, I think, or something like that. But anyway, just this is the same sort of idea. You're in it together, or by yourself, or you know what I mean. So anyway, think about that one. This is once again is what are you looking forward to? Because remember, the anticipation of things are always is almost as good as the thing itself. Now, I was thinking, let's go back to that whole who is your hero thing. And I want you to think about, maybe it wasn't in the last couple of days, maybe last week, last couple of weeks, maybe the last month, but can you think of someone that has done something for you that you can thank? And the reason why I say this is twofold. So I remember back in that one quote about when you receive thanks and give thanks at the same time, like it's almost an exchange of gratitude, and you both feel good from it. So maybe it was a neighbor that did something nice for you. Maybe it was your friend who did something for you. Maybe it's almost just you want to thank your friend for always being there, or maybe it's you want to thank your spouse for doing something lovely for you, or someone to thank your cat for not waking up in the middle of the night. That's what my cat does. He's not getting a letter. I'm just gonna say no letter for that cat. But maybe your cat, Chloe, seems like a nice cat. Anyway, we won't talk about cats. But anyways, back to thank yous. I'm sorry, I'll redirect my mind from my cat and think about who can you thank? And that's what I was saying. If you had stationery, you could do it. You can even do it, but you can do it by email. You can do it by a phone call as well, if that would make you feel better. Or if it's easier for you. The reason why I said thank you letters for first is because nobody does them anymore. And how lovely is it to get something like that in the mail? So, because you're not just dashing off a text or dashing off an email that what people will get and they'll say, oh, it's nice, and then move on. It's actually something that took some effort, because you're going to think specifically what you want to thank them for, because that's it's in the details to get the best feeling from it. And you just want to say, I dear so-and-so, I am grateful for ... And remember, if you can't even think about something, just thinking about it is actually helping you with your gratitude.
Jen, I actually bought a thank you card that's got thank you all over it, because I've been doing a lot of listening and reading books during this COVID period, right? Mm-hmm. And this author, Debbie McComber, she writes really nice, happy ending romance with no sizzle in them, but it's really making me feel good, and I really love her stories. And she likes to be in touch with her readers. She's in Washington State, so I bought a card to thank her for bringing that joy to me, but I just haven't put the words in it yet.
You know what, that is an awesome example of something. You realize that she helped you through a difficult time, and you're going to send her a letter, and she's going to feel good about doing that. That's a wonderful thing. Absolutely. Good example. Hey, Veronica.
I had 2 long-time goals to write letters to 2 different people. And with all this open time, I pulled it together and I wrote the letters. One was to Prince Harry, and I wanted to thank him for doing the Invictus Games. And I was so impressed with this whole thing. So I sent the letter, and I actually got mail back from him. And I guess he has had a secretary. This is before he was married too. And the secretary said he actually read it, because I guess, they get a lot of criticism and all this for being in their positions in life. And so that was very, very nice. And the second letter was to the sardine company, because when I was a child, my father would sit down and we would have sardines together, and I just loved them. And he made it into a big deal, and we take the part and we'd eat the different parts, and it was just so exciting. And he said, I wrote it in the letter, and I don't remember it all now, but he said the reason why he had silver hair is because he ate the sardines, you know. So we all knew that that's why Dad had silver hair. So when I got older, my mom was laughing at me, and she was saying, you're eating too many sardines, you know. And so I just loved the sardines, and I loved the stories about the memories about the sardines. So I wanted to thank the sardine companies. So I looked them up on the internet, and I sent them the letter, and I got a response from them, and they were so happy, and they put it up on their bulletin board so all their employees could see that people were thankful for the sardines.
Oh, wow.
And then they sent me some cans of sardines too.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, well,
I said,
what a success story that is.
yeah, I was just so impressed. So
Wow, that's amazing stories.
yeah.
yeah,
Wow.
it's so great, you know. And you like, in my mind, there's a part of me going, that's so silly, send a letter to the sardine company, who cares? But no, it was very, you know, it was like I didn't expect a response, but I got one. I was like, wow.
Yeah. And
Very
transparent.
Veronica, that is so wonderful. You've made me smile so big, because I used to eat sardines with my dad too. And I never thought of writing to the sardine company, but sardines have brought so much pleasure to my life. So I should have thought to do that. So
and it's like there's a millionaire sardine, there's a billionaire.
It's millionaire sardines.
And now they have them without their tails, and I miss their tails, and I miss their fins, and I miss their bones, and I told them all about that. And when you open them up, you get all these little organs, and they all had different flavors and textures. Now they take it all out. It's like so sad.
Huh.
And it used to have a key in it, and you'd roll the key.
Yeah,
I remember that. Yeah.
And they don't do that anymore, you know.
No.
So like, I put that in the letter too, because it was
That's a long letter, I can tell.
Wow.
We can see you're passionate about sardines, Veronica.
Well, then the thing is, after a certain age, I would get heartburn from them because of the oil. So then they sent me the ones in water. So that was
thoughtful.
I know. It's so funny.
Does anybody else think of anybody that they would like to thank, so they want to share? We got authors, we have sardine manufacturers.
It's hard to top that.
I know, I was like, I don't know what to say.
I went back to a childhood family and wrote them a letter and thanked them for just, you know, for being a part of my world. And I hadn't seen them for years and years. And I just, you know, like one time we went to visit in my childhood city, and we stayed with them, and it was about 2-3 years later, I finally pulled it together to say thank you. And it was, you know, it was like, you know, we have old memories, but now we've reignited a new set of memories. And, you know, it was just lovely to sort of thank them again. And they were so happy. They keep in touch with me now. It's like, wow.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you could also think of this as a new, like, establish a connection that you miss. Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe you miss a friend and you want to use this as a reach out, just so, you know, it doesn't have to be, I'm grateful that you used to be my friend and maybe you'll be my friend again. You just say, I just want to reach out and say, I've been thinking about you. Yeah, that's lovely. It's a lovely way to make that same connection.
It feels good just to, you know, appreciate someone else's influence in your life, or just presence in your life.
Absolutely. Yep. I was going to say too that I also had an app for my phone. If you're finding that writing things down might be too laborious for you, but I think it was a free app, and you could just take pictures every day of things. that you were grateful for. And I found that was an easy thing to go back to, especially when you're feeling a bit low. You have a whole sort of gallery of wonderful pictures that you've decided to pick for something you're grateful for. So that could be a sunset, it could be that sandwich, whatever you want, but that's also an easy way to do it as well. And then plus,
what's the app called?
I think it was called Gratitude. I'll look it up and send it to you, but I'm pretty sure there's tons of them.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's some that you can use as your writing tool as well. It'll just give you a prompt.
Hmm.
And then you can just there's journals that you can buy that have the prompts in them as well, like Heather has. Or you can just use a good old pen and paper and write something down here or there.
Yeah.
Another thing that was funny in that book, and I've just started it, but she rescues animals. So she's got a dog that's blind. I think it's a boxer or a Great Dane. It sounds like a big dog, but she's got a cat that's only got 3 legs, and she calls him Wheelbarrow.
Mm-hmm.
I can just picture.
We also we grew up, we had a 3-legged cat, Squirty. Squirty. Oh, Heather remembers Squirty. Yeah. And we used to call her, she was our handy cat. Yeah.
Oh.
She was a good cat. She was into her 20s.
Oh,
Wow.
But I also knew somebody that had a 3-legged dog and they called him Tripod. Anyway.
Oh God.
One thing I'm grateful for this week is 2 friends from where I used to live invited me over for a little party in the garden on Wednesday.
Oh, that'll be lovely.
That's nice.
Yeah. So I can get out of this horrible place that I live that's so depressing.
Oh,
Told you about this senior retirement residence. It's so depressing being around old people all the time. So nice. Hello? Oh, just a minute. There's somebody here. Sorry. Sorry. My air conditioner is finally.
Okay, well, you take care of that, Liz. Does anybody, Roxana, do you know somebody you want to thank?
My sister, because she's always there to listen to what I have to say and stuff. And I mean, I do thank her. We talk all the time, so I do thank her all the time. But she's coming to visit for a few days later in May, so I'm taking her away for a night to Niagara on the Lake.
That's lovely. That's something to look forward to as well.
Yes,
That's
absolutely. Good. Yeah.
How about you, Chris? Chris Wright, how are you doing? Do you have you done any gratitude practices before?
No. Maybe I should.
Oh, it's all good. Is there any of these things interest you?
Sorry, which things?
Like any of these, like writing the letter to somebody?
Oh yeah, for sure. But it's getting around to it. It's one of those. But yeah, no, I'd like to do something for sure.
Yeah,
I do have an oil for. Oh, I don't know if you can see this. No, you can't. It's an essential oil called Gratitude.
Oh, nice. Perfect.
That's as far as I've got.
Hey, that's more than a lot of people, Chris. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
And hey, maybe that's you just need to smell it and then you think of something that you're grateful for. It's kind of, it'll start off for you.
Exactly.
Good for you. That's awesome. Hi Trish, how are you doing? Oh, maybe she left. How are you doing today? Hey, oh, almost. The pesky mute button. You're gonna hold it. Maybe you can hold down your space bar. sometimes that works. And to unmute you. Okay. Oh, there you go. I see it. Hi.
Hi.
Are you grateful that you were able to unmute? We are.
Yeah, I'm grateful that I could unmute.
Perfect. And how are you doing today?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good.
Good.
Enjoying the sunshine.
Mm-hmm. It's very nice. I do find the season is very optimistic.
Very.
Mm-hmm.
Very.
Very well, good. Well, thank you for coming. It was lovely to see you.
You're welcome.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting.
Have you done any?
What's that?
Just have you done any gratitude exercises before?
I would say I have. I'm sort of in the same position as the lady that did this talk before. I lost a daughter too.
Mm-hmm.
So I know how that goes.
Yeah.
So you either lift yourself out of depression or that's how you live. It's a very tough thing to go through.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So I would say I do things.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's it's a very tough thing that you've had to go through.
Yeah.
You need to take out anything that can help you get through that for sure.
That and a husband with Alzheimer's.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
It's a lot for you.
Yeah, it is a lot. But I have a great dog and I have a horse.
Oh, a horse.
Oh, nice.
I have my health.
See, there you go. Turning of the mind.
Yeah.
Yes.
Animals are great company.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're not kidding. Yeah.
I'm afraid if I got a cat, it would be the worst. It would be the only cat in the world that's just horrible and really hard to look after. Everybody says, oh, get a cat. But I kind of think, oh God, they can't all be wonderful.
You can take
but you know what? They'll be grateful for a good home.
Yeah.
But you can take a cat in for a trial period and then you can return it if it's just not your cat. My friend did that and she tried 4 different cats and then she found the right one.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't even know if they'll allow them here, but I suppose they would.
Most senior homes do, as long as you can clean the litter box.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks.
Yeah, and cats are low maintenance. So
yeah.
Well, some of them are high maintenance. Well, it depends really.
But it wouldn't be able to go out because it would be running through the hallways and stuff.
Well, I'm sure lots of other people would like to see your cat too.
You know, I can take my dog to the seniors home to visit.
Oh, good.
And he's a German Shepherd, so.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm
So
sure
the animals cheer the people up. They really do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
thought this place was going to be different, but it's not. So
maybe you need some animals in there.
Yeah.
How long have you been there, Liz?
2 years. I'd give anything to get out of here.
Well, why don't you get out of there then?
Because I don't know anywhere to go. In the East End, really, of Toronto, there's not much. And I don't want to, if I totally move to a apartment like I used to have, it's a huge, huge job, moving and finding more furniture and.
Yeah, go to another retirement home. Find out which one you like better.
I know, but there aren't any. It's not as easy as it sounds. Like there's that one down at Leslie Street, Andale or something like that. Or
did you apply there?
No, but I hear it's not very good. Like those private, expensive places, I could afford them, but I've heard they're no better than these government-funded ones. Like I'm in the Mennonite one, which had a really good name for being
Oh, I know that one. I thought
What, up at O'Connor? Is it up at O'Connor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not, because I came here just before COVID, and apparently it used to be a lot better. It's, most of the activities are geared towards sort of more kindergarten people.
Well, that's why you come here.
What?
That's why you come here.
Yeah, that's why I come here.
Hey, Jen.
Anyway.
Yes.
I want to show you something.
Yes, please.
She could get one. Can you see this?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Is that is that a robot dog?
Yeah, cat.
Cat. Sorry, I just saw the fur. Yeah.
Is it a robot cat?
House. Yeah. I don't know if I can get it on screen for you guys to see, but it.
Put it up by your head, because we could see your head. Put it up higher.
Yeah, there. Look, can you hear him?
Oh, yeah. Our
And
community
it rolls
care
over.
for seniors had one. I'd love one of those.
Where do you get it?
I got it at Amazon.
Oh, okay.
Can you hear it purring? Now you could get one of these.
Yeah.
What's your cat's name?
I don't think my husband ever named it.
Oh,
It looks
that must
so
have
like,
hurt. That must have hurt its feelings, I'm sure.
Oh, well, I keep it company now.
No litter box.
No litter box.
Low maintenance.
Yeah, the litter box thing never really appealed to me. I don't know.
I don't know why. It's so much fun to clean those out.
Oh, no, yeah. Anyway, that's an idea for you. You could look into it.
Yeah, that's a great idea, actually.
Thank you.
I might get one of those from Amazon.
Yeah,
because I've been wanting
they're comforting.
I've been wanting to adopt a cat, but it's just that they shed so much, and my husband does all the vacuuming, so he's like, I'm not vacuuming. We had a cat which died a few years ago, and we've never had another one since, so maybe this would be a good replacement.
Yeah, it would.
Thanks for the idea.
You're welcome.
Yeah, great idea.
They do a dog too.
Cat.
I wonder if Roxana, if your mother would like that cat too.
I was thinking.
Oh no, she's not my mother. My mother-in-law.
Oh, okay.
And no, she's. I wish I could. It's just a whole history of just poor me. I'm the victim, and it just at 88. I know it's not going to change. But you think that she would, it's not going to change. I'm just going to have to deal with it better. And most days I do. Today I'm having a particularly difficult day, but anyways, thank you though.
Alzheimer's or dementia?
Oh God, I wish she did. Maybe she'd be a nicer person if my mother, I looked after my mother too, who had Alzheimer's, and she was so pleasant even in her dementia, she was just a happy person, always singing and, smiling and just being happy. This one, it's nothing, everything is someone else's fault, no accountability. No gratitude whatsoever. But anyway, sorry, don't start me because I'll take over the thing.
Well, that's good to hear. That's good to hear, actually. It makes me think, I hope I'm not like that, and I must be more grateful.
Yeah, you really, honestly, it's a sad way to live. It's a very sad way to live.
You can be grateful that you aren't her.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Is there anybody else who could take her for a while so you don't have to have her all the time?
She has a daughter, but the daughter has nothing really to. She calls her maybe once every 2 weeks and visits for an hour once a month or so, but that's it.
Oh, that's too
She,
bad.
yeah. But you know what? The way I'm trying to look at this is maybe this is a lesson for us how not to be when we get older, right? So that's how I think that maybe this is how, God's way of teaching us how not to be, and teaching us gratitude for whatever is being done for you by your children.
Mm-hmm. And if you think about that opening cartoon with the lineups, so maybe your mother-in-law got so used to always seeing what's wrong with everything that she was that's just her loop. Like that's just the way her brain.
That's right.
It's comfortable doing that. Unfortunately,
like
things that are comfortable doesn't mean they're good. They're just your brain gets used to certain patterns. It's really hard.
And and her husband, who died last year, that's why we had to bring her here. Never, he just went with the flow because it was easier. Nobody challenged her behavior or anything because she could create drama in an instant. So. So she got away with it.
Is she bedridden, or could you take her for a walk, or doesn't she enjoy beauty of nature or anything?
No, she's not bedridden, but if you talk to her, she'll make out like she's very, very ill, but she's not. She just, anyways.
That's too bad.
I wish I'd tuned into the start of this, but I was in a yoga session, so I didn't want to miss that. So I wish I'd heard the beginning of this session here.
Well, it'll be recording. So you can go back and look at it. But basically, just to sum up what gratitude, scientifically what it does is actually it changes the chemicals in your brain. So you feel better as soon as you start thinking about feeling grateful for something. So it's a great kind of hack that you can use if you're feeling really anxious or you're feeling really depressed about what's going on, or you're just kind of angry about things. If you just take a moment and you start thinking about what you're grateful for, even if you can't figure anything that you feel grateful for, even the searching for it will help your brain sort of cope with the present moment. Is basically what it is. So it's not going to make you ecstatic. It's going to make you just get to a point where you can maybe cope some more.
Can I share something that I read many years ago? I don't know if everybody's has. I'm sure you've heard of Eckhart Tolle. He wrote the book, the Awakening or something like to that effect. And I read it and I was reading it and I had to really force myself to get through it because it was pretty, dry material. But I always feel that if there's one thing that you can get from something that you read that's of benefit to your life, it's worth it. So with him, all those years ago, and I'm talking maybe 10 plus years, he said something about listen to your thoughts, which is this whole mindfulness thing. But the way he positioned it was listen to your thoughts. And when you listen to your thoughts and you can hear yourself thinking negative things, stop and change that thought. And I practice that a lot. Some days I'm very, very successful. There are days that I'm not, but at least I'm aware that here's a technique that I can use to help myself feel less negative.
That's very true. Yeah, because thoughts don't have to mean anything. They can just be like floating in your mind. You don't have to let them define you or do any of those things. Thanks, Trish. Thanks for joining us today.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you. This session truly helped me too. Thank you.
Good. Well, I'm glad. Just one of those things that when you learn about it and you think, I just thought it was so interesting that something that you could do that's fairly simple could actually make you kind of feel better.
Yeah. Are you going to post that link to that Yale course?
Yeah.
Please.
Yes, that would be great. Thank you, Jen.
Yeah, no problem.
Can I ask, what exactly is a high five? Is that when you just put your hand up like that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can just tap your mirror, like don't break it or anything. I don't want to be responsible for any broken mirrors here.
Bad luck.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to ask another question for Roxana. If you said, and I hope it's okay, if you said to your mother, what can I do for you so that you're happy? Wonder what she would say. What do you need so you are happy? Would she even answer that?
Veronica, it's no.
Yeah.
No, she's just six, you know, it's, yeah, it's,
okay.
You know what, I don't even want to go there with her because, you know, she depresses me. Basically, she sucks the energy out of you, you know, and it's all about her. It's all about her. Yeah.
She's winning. She's winning because she's making you feel bad.
Well, that's what I'm trying. I'll be damned if I let her win this one. So I'm doing what I'm doing out of the kindness of my heart and because it's the right thing to do. Yeah. But you know, for me to be grateful for her, like from when I looked after my mother, I felt it was a blessing. And it was a great opportunity to serve my parents, you know. But this doesn't feel like that at all.
You should bring her on one of these sessions and we'll teach her.
Yeah. I tried, but you know, oh no, I don't want to do this. This is not the kind of thing. I did try to bring her, but I'm not trying anymore. I'm doing what I need to do to keep her clean and fed and all of that stuff. But you know, the emotional stuff, I'm sorry.
Well, I think we all struggle trying to understand these things and how to take care of ourselves in the midst of all
Exactly. That's the thing, right? You need to take care of us. And that's what I said to my husband. We need to take care of us so that we can take care of her.
Yeah. So what you share is of value. It's very valuable that you share this. Thank you.
Thank you all for listening.
It's too bad that you have to be going through this and suffering because of her stupidity. It's just such a shame. Such a shame.
Thank you for that link, Jen.
Yeah, so it's through Corsia, which has free and paid one. This one is free, but you have to sign up and make a free account with Corsia. And I think they said the next one's starting this week sometime. But it has modules. You can do it all. You don't have to be there for any of the live stuff. And and then I just put out a little article about it. They talked about it.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, well, thanks everybody for sharing today. I thought that was really interesting. And I hope this has motivated you to keep on with your gratitude podcast. Jody, do you want to say something? Are you just waving? Or are you just saying hello? Oh, sorry, I thought you were saying hello. And I hope whatever thank you letter you're thinking about doing, that you finish it, put it in an envelope, put a stamp on it, and mail it off to that sardine company in the sky.
To the state.
I wrote some other ones too, but they never wrote back, but it was still so gratifying.
Yeah.
My friend wrote a letter to the Queen back when she was a kid, asking him to put the Beatles back together. And her lady in waiting wrote back to her, said the Queen was very busy and she wished she could help her, but it was beyond her control. Anyway, she's got it framed in her house. The letter.
Cute.
It's cute. I'm going to express a little gratitude note right now. The first class that I took on your service was with you, Veronica, when you made your snowflakes.
Oh my gosh.
And it was so delightful. And I made a ton of them afterwards. And I put them on plain paper and wrapped Christmas presents in them.
Oh,
and so that was the theme for Christmas, was all these crazy snowflakes. And I wanted to thank you for that, because it really made me very interested in continuing with Art Your Service. And it was so creative and festive. And I was so glad to have had the opportunity. So thank you.
Thank you. I want to say too, like when we do some of the things, like there are things that we might have done in childhood, and we might have seen illustrations and they were all so beautiful and we never could quite get them right. Now we're the adults that can make them and do it better. And that's always, you know, I'm like, well, now I can make this beautiful snowflake. But as a kid, you couldn't quite get it, or you couldn't get the paintbrush to do exactly what you want. But as you get older, you know, you just learn differently. And that's a gift. So you can do the simplest lesson, but the results are totally different. You know,
we've got way better scissors now than those little ones we had.
Yeah. That's a good point. Awesome.
I think the letters are important, Veronica, because you know everybody wants to be appreciated. So that really probably made their day at the sardine factory when they got that letter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The world didn't stink as much.
Oh, Jen.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm grateful to all you guys. Have a wonderful.
We're grateful for you.
Grateful for you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Enjoy the sun
you.
out there. It's beautiful out there.
Yes, that was lovely. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Have a good day.
You too. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.